Two, as a very honest and kindly man. And with all his vulgarity, I see no trace of low passions in his face. On the whole, he is such a mixture of all sorts, as only America brings forth. Present at the cabinet meeting was William Henry Seward, the Secretary of State, a former governor of New York and U.S. Senator who had been the favorite for the nomination going into the Republican convention in 1860. Described by one reporter as silver-haired and slight, a subtle, quick man rejoicing in power, Seward had declared in the 1850s that there was a higher law than the Constitution and that the conflict between North and South was irrepressible. Other cabinet members bristled at Seward's ambitions, perhaps none more so than Salmon P. Chase, former senator from Ohio and now Secretary of the Treasury. One diplomat described him as a tall, well-made, robust man with handsome features, fine blue eyes, and a ready and agreeable smile. An observer once wondered how so kind-looking a man can find it in his heart to tax anybody. Chase himself lusted after the presidency, and in the scheme that backfired, he fed information to a group of radical Republican senators who called for Seward's dismissal. But Seward and Chase would offer their resignations by year's end, but Lincoln would refuse to accept them. Gideon Welles, the Secretary of the Navy, a former Democrat from Connecticut, was far more conservative than Chase, but he too distrusted Seward, who seemed always to be meeting privately with Lincoln and meddling in affairs. Welles, I believe it's pronounced Welles, whose flowing white beard and high naval position had earned him the nickname Father Neptune, gossiped freely in his diary. He claimed that Edward Bates, the U.S. Attorney General, also felt disgust with Seward. Bates, from Missouri, was one of the more conservative members of the cabinet. Other conservatives included Maryland's Montgomery Blair, the Postmaster General, who feuded with Edwin Stanton and called Seward an unprincipled liar, and Caleb Smith, the Secretary of the Interior, yet another cabinet member dissatisfied with the Secretary of State, Stanton, who had been born in Ohio but had moved to Pennsylvania in 1847, and Washington in 1856, was a prominent lawyer before serving as Attorney General under James Buchanan. He opposed Lincoln politically, but had entered the cabinet as Secretary of War in January after Lincoln arranged for the resignation of the inept Simon Cameron. Stanton would remain by Lincoln's side to the end. Lincoln said to the members of his cabinet, "I have, as you are aware, thought a great deal about the relation of this war to slavery." He had been waiting for the right time to act and had decided the time has come now. He knew it wasn't an ideal moment, but such a moment might never arrive. The Confederate Army had been driven out of Maryland, and with that the President was determined to issue a proclamation of emancipation such as I thought most likely to be useful. He had made a promise to himself. Lincoln then paused and added that he had also made the promise to my Maker.